Okay, so coming into the quiz of what we just went over, I'm going to share my screen again. Wait, what happened to? Okay. Okay, you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so this quiz is just going over what we just talked about with design prep, and you get 1 minute for each answer, and then just submit your answer in the chat. Okay, so here's the first question. Let me make it bigger so it's easier. And I'm starting the timer. All right, next question.
Oh, wait. I'm
Oh, did you not?
sorry.
Okay, 5 seconds. Let me go back. Which one did you choose?
Okay.
Okay, next question. And the next question, last question. Okay, let's talk about the answers. So question number one, why should industry experts be called when planning a design sprint? The answer is B, because experts help us clarify the problem that we're trying to solve. So again, like we talk to the experts and anybody else who's involved, stakeholders, because we kind of want to have a deeper conversation with them surrounded around, okay, so what's the issue? What issue do you see coming up with your users? And, what's your experience with this? And what's your background? What's the history of this problem? What's the information? Why is this in place? Like all of those questions, we want to get clarity from the experts and other people who have stake in the project. So the answer is B as in baby. Question number 2. UX designers share the design sprint brief with participants in order to, the answer is A, help them prepare for the design sprint. So we just want to make sure as a team that everyone has the brief before we start sprint planning so that people are prepared coming into it. And then question number 3, the current state of the project and the estimated launch plan should be completed in the design sprint brief. Yes, that is true. It should definitely be included. We want to, identify like what the feature is, when the company plans on rolling out the feature, and what's the current state of it. Like, is it something that's new? Is it already existing? And if it's already existing, what information do we have on it? Are there any questions about that?
No.
No, yeah.
Mm.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about what it looks like as an entry level designer, what to expect. So as an entry level designer, more than likely, you probably won't be the person who they assign to lead the sprint, but you'll more than likely be a part of the sprint. When you come in, so let's just say you get hired at a new company and you're participating in your first design sprint. It's going to start off with introductions. The sprint leader is going to welcome everyone. You're going to see that all of the supplies should already be there. Snacks should be there. Water should be there. Because again, it's an all day event. So you guys are going to be in the room for 8 hours. More than likely, you guys are going to open up with an icebreaker just to kind of get everyone comfortable with each other and to get to know each other a little bit deeper. And then you're going to go through the phase. So day 1, you're going to go through that, connecting with stakeholders, connecting with the expert thing. Day 2, you're going to have your brainstorming session. Day 3, you guys are going to decide out of all of the brainstorming solutions you came up with, out of all the solutions you came up with during brainstorming, which ones you're going to go forward with. And then the 4th day, you're going to prototype that decision. And then on the 5th day, you're going to test it. So, that's kind of like what your day is going to look like as a new entry level designer coming into the role, coming into a sprint. Now, after you guys finish going through the whole design sprint process, you're going to have a retrospective. And a retrospective is when you think about everything in retrospect. So looking back on it, it's a collaborative critique. So everyone comes into the room together. And the way we used to do it at our company, when we were following it strictly, we would have like a bunch of sticky notes, and whoever was leading the retrospective would go up to the board, and we used to have 2 columns, and we would talk about like what went well, what could we have done better, and we just have like an overall conversation of it. This usually happens immediately following the sprint. It gives everyone an opportunity to give feedback, talk about what can be improved, and it's all about empowering and not shaming. So there are no dumb questions. There is no such thing as feedback that's not valuable. Everyone's voice matters and everyone's opinion matters. Some questions that may come up during, like, when you're talking about what went well. So you may identify like which tools helped with efficiency. So if you're going through the process of prototyping, let's just say the company is torn between Figma and Adobe XD, you may get feedback on which product or which tool you like the most and why. Or let's just say we go through 3 different brainstorming processes. Like, say we do crazy eights, but then we also do sketching. And then what's another one? Let's say we do crazy eights, we do sketching, and then I don't know, let's just say we like kind of talk through it and come up with different sticky notes. Which one do we think was the most effective? We'll talk about which moments were the most satisfying and rewarding. And then everyone in the room will identify what things were in place that kind of made them feel comfortable or put them in a position to make their most valuable contribution to the team. So that's just an example of different questions that may be posed or asked during the what went well portion of the retrospective. And then when we talk about what can be improved, we'll identify as a team like what went left and caught you off guard, right? Because every process isn't going to be perfect. So did something happen that kind of threw you off personally? Were there any reoccurring problems that you want to address? Meaning, like, did the monitor constantly go out? Was there an issue where it took 10 to 15 minutes to set up sound and to set up audio visual for the remote team? And what can we do to resolve that? Maybe a day ahead of time, we can make sure all of the audio and everything works before we actually, go into the room that we booked. Or was there like, do you feel like someone was constantly cutting someone else off, or do you feel like the sprint leader was being biased or leaning more towards one person and not allowing everyone to voice, their ideas, like, whatever it was, whether it was technical, whether it was just the way we interacted with each other? What problems do you identify that were reoccurring? What was the biggest challenge? Did we underestimate or overestimate the work required to complete the design? So did we think we were going to be able to prototype this in a day? And then what we came up with was so complex that it took, we had to work 15 hours and at home, to come up with the design solution we came up with. Did any external factors derail productivity? Meaning, did the company call a meeting that you weren't expecting, or did something break, or was there, like I said, a technical outage? Was the internet down? Like anything? Were there any external factors that derail productivity? And does the final design actually solve the user's problem? So when you go through testing, did this solution that we come up with in prototype, did it actually resolve the issue, right? So these are some questions that'll be asked during retrospective. Do you have any questions about retrospective?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Yep. So that's kind of what I wanted to go through over that phase. Now I want to switch gears. Since I kind of got us a little bit more up to speed. We still have a lot of stuff to cover, but I do want to backtrack and go over last week's homework assignments. So let me, well, the week before last homework assignments. Okay, let's look at the homework. The last time we met. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so the last time we met, the homework assignment was to create paper and digital workflows for each user path. Remember, we talked about like really digging in and detailing all of those. To create a paper and digital wireframe, low fidelity for each view. Um, you guys were supposed to complete the beginner's Figma tutorial. How did that Figma tutorial? I'll talk about it later. You were supposed to import a wireframe library, universal, and we went over like the universal images that you use in a wireframe. So your wireframe was supposed to incorporate those images. So how did the homework assignment go for you?
I had a few hiccups. As
Okay.
far as the format, or what is the name? Figma. Figma was, I don't know if this is an updated version that we're using now, and um,
Mhm.
versus the one that was on YouTube,
Mhm.
because the things that it was telling me to do did not look the
Mhm.
same. So
Okay.
I had a few
That's
hiccups. I had to make things work when doing my wireframes, or no, doing my user flow. Which one was it? Let me look. Um,
okay. Let's talk about it. So, are you ready to share your screen
oh, I
or
sent
share
it
your
to
Figma
you.
file? You sent it to me.
Mhm.
Okay, let me
But I
switch
can
it.
share it. I think I
Yeah, walk me through because I don't want to like, you can walk me through and talk me through your process and what you put in place and what your hiccups were.
okay.
So let me stop sharing.
Because I couldn't complete the second part because nothing was the same. So, so
Okay.
I couldn't do. So, um,
And were you using the app or the desktop version?
the desktop version.
Okay.
So which do you want to go over first, the user flow or the wireframe?
Let's talk about the workflow.
Okay. It says that the screen sharing is disabled.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, try it again. And let me share my screen. I'm going to share my screen of you sharing your screen so that everyone can see. Let me see.
And I did send you the paper versions of this as well, I believe.
Okay. Let me go here. Can you actually share it with me? So you see the big purple share button in the top right?
Yes.
Share it with me. So click on share. I think what's it's Shelly.Ford.
Mhm.
I probably shouldn't be streaming this part.
I know, I was thinking it.
At scicreative.com, I'll edit this part out.
Okay, invite sent.
Okay, wait, let me pause this and I'm gonna pull it up and then come back.